Lieutenant Maya Winters never expected her routine diplomatic mission to the Orion Nebula would end with her hiding behind shining crystal pillars at an alien royal ceremony. Maya was a tall woman with warm brown skin and short black hair that framed her face neatly. She had been chosen for this mission because of her calm approach to unexpected situations and her skill with learning new languages. As the human representative of Earth Interstellar Coalition, Maya was supposed to deliver trade agreements to the mysterious Sylvari, a race of elegant elf-like beings known for their advanced plant technology and fierce dragon companions. The Sylvari had only made contact with humans 3 years ago, and this was the first official trade negotiation between the two species. Maya sat in her small shuttle checking the navigation system one last time before approaching the atmosphere of Silverus Prime. The planet glowed with an unusual blue-green light that seemed to pulse gently, as if the entire world was breathing. Maya had studied everything available about the Sylvari, which was not much. They were private and careful with information they shared. The shuttle controls suddenly flashed red warnings as Maya entered the upper atmosphere. Something was interfering with the guidance systems. Maya tried manual override, but the shuttle began spinning out of control. The heat shields were failing and alarms blared throughout the cabin. Maya strapped herself in tightly and prepared for a rough landing. The shuttle crashed through a canopy of enormous silver trees and slammed into a clearing in the sacred forests of Silverus Prime. The impact knocked Maya unconscious. When she opened her eyes, she saw a face looking down at her. The face belonged to a woman with skin that seemed to shimmer with a faint violet glow and eyes that shifted color like opals. This was Serafina, a Sylvari woman with silver-streaked hair who moved like flowing water. What Maya did not know was that Serafina was not just any Sylvari. She was the personal protector to Queen Lysithea, ruler of the Sylvari Dominion, and bonded to Azarath, the most dangerous battle dragon in the royal forces. "Your ship is damaged beyond repair," Serafina said, her voice musical and strange. The words were in perfect English but had an echo quality as if multiple voices spoke together. Maya tried to sit up but felt sharp pain in her side. "You have minor injuries. I have treated them, but you should rest." Maya looked around and saw she was no longer in her shuttle but in some kind of living structure. The walls appeared to be made of interwoven plants that glowed softly, providing gentle light. "Where am I?" Maya asked, trying to remain calm despite the situation. "You are in a healing chamber near the royal palace," Serafina explained. "I found you and brought you here." Maya noticed that Serafina wore armor that seemed to be growing from her skin. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "Your timing is either very fortunate or very unfortunate. The Queen holds the selection ceremony tonight." Maya tried to remember her briefing materials about Sylvari customs, but nothing about a selection ceremony had been included. The Sylvari were notoriously secretive about their traditions, especially those involving their royalty. "What is the selection ceremony?" Maya asked, hoping to gain information that might help her complete her diplomatic mission. Despite the crash, Serafina seemed to consider whether to answer, then said, "The ceremony where our queen chooses her eternal consort. It happens once every 100 years. The candidates have gathered from across the galaxy." Maya realized this might explain why her shuttle had malfunctioned. The Sylvari might have security measures in place during such an important event. Serafina handed Maya a cup filled with glowing blue liquid. "You should drink this. It will help you heal faster." Maya hesitated, then drank. The liquid tasted like honey and mint and immediately made her feel stronger. "I need to contact my people," Maya said. "They will be worried when I miss my check-in." Serafina shook her head. "Communications are blocked during the ceremony for security. It will be 3 days before messages can be sent. I must return to the palace, but you should remain here and rest." After Serafina left, Maya waited a few minutes, then carefully got up. Her diplomatic training included never missing an opportunity to learn about a new culture. A royal selection ceremony would provide valuable insights into Sylvari society. She found her uniform mostly intact and changed into it. Moving carefully, she left the healing chamber. Outside, Maya was amazed by the beauty of Silverus Prime. The trees, towered hundreds of feet tall with trunks wider than Earth buildings. The forest floor was covered with plants that glowed in different colors, creating natural pathways. Maya could see the royal palace in the distance. It was an enormous structure that seemed to be a combination of living trees and crystal, growing together into towers and domes. Maya followed the brightest path toward the palace, reasoning it would be the main route. She moved quietly, staying in shadows when she saw Silvari, guards patrolling. The closer she got to the palace, the more activity she saw. Silvari from different regions based on their varying skin tones and clothing styles were gathering. Small dragon creatures flew overhead, some carrying messages or items. Between groups. When Maya reached the palace grounds, she saw numerous ships from different worlds parked in a large clearing. These must belong to the various candidates seeking to marry the queen, Maya thought. She noticed the security was focused on the main entrances, but a service area seemed less guarded. Using her training, Maya slipped past the guards and into the palace through a side entrance. Inside the palace was even more impressive than outside. The walls were alive and seemed to sing softly. The ceilings were impossibly high and decorated with moving images that told stories Maya could not understand. She moved deeper into the palace, following the sounds of a gathering. Maya found herself in a massive chamber. The room was filled with beings from dozens of different worlds. Some looked nearly human, while others were completely alien in form. All were dressed in elaborate clothing that seemed designed to impress. At the far end of the room, on a throne that grew from the floor, sat Queen Lysithea. The queen was the most beautiful being Maya had ever seen. Her skin glowed with inner light, and her eyes were deep green like ancient forests. Her hair floated around her head as if underwater, despite there being no water. Maya stared in wonder, then quickly remembered her situation. She needed to remain hidden. Maya slipped behind massive crystal pillars that lined the hall. She could observe everything but remained out of sight. Serafina stood beside the queen, looking vigilant and dangerous. Beside Serafina was something that made Maya gasp. A dragon the size of a small shuttle with scales the color of midnight blue and eyes that glowed like stars. This must be Azurath, the battle dragon. Serafina was bonded. The ceremony began with music that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Candidates from each world stepped forward, presenting gifts and making speeches about why they should be chosen. Most spoke of political alliances or personal wealth. Maya listened carefully, noting which worlds were represented. This was valuable information for Earth. As the final candidate finished, the queen stood. Everyone grew quiet. Lysithea began to speak in a voice that reminded Maya of wind through trees. When suddenly the great dragon Azurath lifted its head and stared directly at the pillar where Maya hid. The dragon made a sound like thunder, and everyone turned to look. Maya tried to press herself further behind the pillar, but it was too late. Azurath bounded across the room, moving with impossible grace for something so large. The dragon stopped directly in front of Maya. Its eyes were intelligent and curious rather than threatening, but Maya was still terrified. The human female bears the mark of celestial alignment. Serafina announced to the shocked assembly. Maya had no idea what that meant, but everyone else seemed to understand. Based on their reactions of surprise, Queen Lysithea stood from her throne and approached Maya. Her eyes changed color from green to gold, which Maya would later learn was a sign of royal interest. According to our most ancient laws, any being who witnesses the selection ceremony without invitation becomes a candidate for royal bonding queen. Lysithea said, her voice now directed at Maya. The dragons must approve any potential mate for the monarch, and Azurath has clearly chosen you. Maya was stunned. This was not covered in any diplomatic training she had received. I am Lieutenant Maya. Winters of Earth, she managed to say. I came to deliver trade agreements, not to marry anyone. The queen smiled, revealing teeth that were slightly sharper than human teeth. The ceremony has spoken, the queen said. You will be prepared for the bonding. Ritual guards take our unexpected guest to the royal chambers. Maya looked desperately around the room and saw another human, a woman with blonde hair looking equally shocked. This must be diplomat Heather Walsh, Earth's official ambassador who had arrived on a different ship. Help me, Maya mouthed to Heather, but the ambassador seemed unable to intervene as guards surrounded Maya. The last thing Maya saw before being led away was Seraphina watching her with an unreadable expression, and Azarath, the dragon, making a sound that almost seemed like laughter. Maya had come to deliver papers and now found herself about to be married to an alien queen. She had no idea how she would explain this to her superiors if she ever got the chance to contact them again. Maya was led through winding corridors that seemed to shift and change as they walked. The Sylvari guards flanking her remained silent, their expressions unreadable. They arrived at an enormous door made of living wood that opened by itself, revealing a suite of rooms more luxurious than anything Maya had ever seen. Enter, said one guard. The queen will summon you when preparations are complete. Maya stepped into the room, and the door closed behind her. She immediately began looking for escape routes, but found none. The windows opened to a sheer drop of several hundred feet, and the wall seemed impenetrable. She was examining a strange device when a side door opened. Seraphina entered, carrying what appeared to be clothing. Maya stepped back warily. Seraphina placed the items on a large bed covered in shimmering fabric that changed colors like oil on water. You have caused quite a disruption. Seraphina said, her voice neither friendly nor hostile. I did not intend to witness your ceremony, Maya replied. I was simply trying to learn about your culture after my ship crashed. That is a diplomatic mission, not spying. The corners of Seraphina's mouth turned up slightly. Intention matters little in this situation. The dragon's choice is final. Azarath has selected you, and that overrules all else, including your wishes and the queen's preferences. Maya felt a chill at these words. So the queen does not want this either? Maya asked, watching Seraphina carefully. The queen fulfills her duty to our people, Seraphina answered. What she wants is irrelevant, just as what you want is irrelevant. Seraphina picked up what looked like armor rather than wedding attire. Put this on. You begin training immediately. Training? Maya asked, confused. I thought I was being prepared for a wedding. You humans have such narrow understanding, Seraphina said. When you bond with our queen, you join her in all things, including war. We are not holding a simple ceremony of partnership. We are creating a warrior-queen pair. Azarath has seen something in you that the rest of us cannot yet see. You will need to prove yourself worthy. Maya examined the armor. It was beautiful but clearly functional. Made from a material she did not recognize, it seemed to shift and adjust as she touched it. I don't understand. Why would Azarath choose a human for this role? There must be more qualified candidates. Seraphina turned away, facing a large window that overlooked the forest beyond the palace. The Sylvari are dying out, she said quietly. Our bloodlines have become too narrow, too similar. Each generation, fewer children are born, and those that survive are weaker. We need genetic diversity. Maya began to understand the wedding was not just tradition but survival. The other candidates had been from species compatible with Sylvari biology. But why me, she asked. There are other humans surely more qualified. The dragon chooses based on qualities we cannot fully comprehend. Seraphina turned back to Maya, her expression serious. You should know the truth. This is not just about continuing our species. We are at war. The Draxus Empire borders our territory. They use technology that corrupts living things. Their weapons turn life against itself. We have fought them for generations, but we are losing. Maya had never heard of the Draxus during her briefing. Earth was still new to interstellar politics. Many conflicts and species remained unknown to humans. Why tell me this? Maya asked. Because if you marry our queen, you join our war, Seraphina said bluntly. If Earth wishes to maintain relations with the Sylvari Dominion, you must accept this role, or your planet will be considered hostile. There is no diplomatic solution that allows you to leave. The implications were enormous. If Maya refused, Earth could lose a potentially valuable ally. If she accepted, she would be committing Earth to a conflict they knew nothing about. Either way, her simple mission had become a galactic incident. I need to speak with the Earth ambassador. Maya said, I cannot make this decision alone. That is not possible until after the ceremony, Seraphina replied. Perhaps not ever, depending on your performance. Your training begins now. Put on the armor. She walked to the door. We start with combat assessment. I need to know what skills you possess. Maya realized she had little choice. She changed into the armor which adjusted to fit her perfectly. It was lighter than it looked and seemed to enhance her movements. The material regulated her body temperature and somehow made her feel stronger. When she was ready, Serafina led her through the palace to a large open area that appeared to be a training ground. Several silvery warriors were sparring, using weapons Maya had never seen before. They moved with incredible speed and grace. Their fighting style combined fluid movements with sudden explosive attacks. The warriors stopped and stared when Maya entered. Many looked disapproving. A few seemed curious. Serafina led Maya to the center of the training ground. "This is Lieutenant Maya Winters of Earth," Serafina announced. "She has been chosen by Azarath as the Queen's consort. She will train with us." A tall Sylvari male stepped forward, his skin a deeper blue than most of the others. "The human cannot fight with us," he said dismissively. "She will break." He looked at Maya with contempt. Maya had faced prejudice before in her military career. She stood straighter, meeting his gaze. "Let me prove my worth," she said. Serafina nodded approvingly. "Kaleth will assess your combat skills. The rules are simple. Survive before Maya could respond. Kaleth attacked. He moved faster than any human, his fist aiming for her head. Maya's military training kicked in. She dodged and countered, trying to use his momentum. Against him, Kaleth adjusted easily and swept her legs from under her. Maya hit the ground hard but rolled away before his next strike could land. The fight continued with Maya clearly outmatched but refusing to give up. She landed a few hits but took many more. The Silvari armor protected her from serious injury, but she would be badly bruised. Just as she thought she could not continue any longer, a loud roar shook the training ground. Azurath landed in the center of the arena between Maya and Kaleth. The dragon was even more impressive up close. Its scales shimmered with hints of purple and green beneath the dominant blue. Its eyes fixed on Maya, seeming to look through her. "Enough," Serafina declared. "The assessment is complete. The dragon approves." Kaleth bowed to Azurath, then left without another word. Maya stood shakily. The dragon's presence was overwhelming. She felt a strange pressure in her mind, as if something was trying to communicate with her. "You feel it, don't you?" Serafina asked, watching Maya closely. "Azurath is attempting contact. Most species cannot sense dragon communication." "I feel something," Maya admitted. "It's like a voice but not with words, more like feelings or images." Serafina looked surprised. "That is unusual. For a human, the Queen will want to know of this." She gestured for Maya to follow her. "The next part of your training begins over the next days." Maya trained constantly, learning Silvari combat techniques, history, and customs. She was introduced to their technology, which combined biological components with advanced physics. Most impressive were their living ships, vessels grown rather than built, capable of incredible speeds and self-repair. Maya also spent time with Azarath. The dragon seemed interested in her, teaching her to understand basic dragon communication. Through these sessions, Maya learned more about the war with the Draxus. The neighboring empire used technology that corrupted living systems, turning them against their users. The Silvari, whose technology was entirely biological, were particularly vulnerable. What Maya could not understand was why she had been chosen. What could she possibly offer in this conflict? She was asking Serafina this question while they practiced with energy staffs when an alarm sounded throughout the palace. "Intruders," Serafina said, immediately alert. She handed Maya a weapon. "Stay close to me." They ran toward the source of the alarm, Maya following Serafina through corridors filling with armed guards. They reached a landing platform where a ship bearing Earth insignia had docked. Captain Olivia Blackwood, Maya's superior officer, stood with a team of human soldiers facing off against Silvari guards. Maya recognized Heather Walsh, the Earth ambassador. Among them, Maya. Olivia called when she saw her. "Are you hurt? We came as soon as we received your ship's distress signal." "Am not hurt," Maya replied, stepping forward. "The situation is complicated." "Complicated?" Olivia looked angry. "These aliens are forcing you into a marriage. We are here to extract you. This is kidnapping." No, Maya began, but Queen Lacithea appeared flanked by her royal guard and Azarath. The dragon moved to Maya's side, positioning itself protectively next to her. Everyone stared at this unexpected development. Your officer was not kidnapped. Queen Lacithea said, her voice echoing with authority. She witnessed our sacred ceremony and was chosen by the royal dragon. This is our highest law. To remove her would be an act of war against. The Sylvari Dominion Captain Blackwood looked at Maya, then at the dragon standing beside her. What is going on here, Lieutenant? She demanded. Maya realized she stood at a crossroads. Her actions would affect not just her future, but potentially relations between Earth and the Sylvari. She thought of what she had learned about the Draxus threat, how it would eventually reach Earth. The dragon beside her rumbled softly, and Maya felt a strange certainty in her mind. The Sylvari are at war with an empire that threatens all biological life, Maya explained. Their technology could eventually threaten Earth. They need alliances and genetic diversity to survive. I am in a position to help both our peoples. Are you saying you want to stay? Olivia asked incredulously. Not permanently, but yes, for now, Maya confirmed. I believe this is a first contact situation that could benefit. The sky above Silverus Prime filled with ships as the Draxus attack force descended toward the planet. Maya had never seen combat like this. The Draxus vessels were black and angular, looking like predatory insects. Their weapons fired beams of sickly, green energy that seemed to eat through whatever they touched. Mounted on Azarath, Maya felt a surge of power and connection. The dragon knew exactly what to do, and somehow transmitted this knowledge directly into her mind. They climbed higher, joining a formation of Sylvari dragon riders. The other Sylvari looked at Maya with surprise and some distrust, but followed Azarath's lead. The first wave of Draxus fighters broke through the upper atmosphere. Maya watched as Sylvari ships intercepted them. These living vessels pulsed with blue energy, firing weapons that looked like concentrated sunlight. The battle was chaotic and beautiful in a terrible way. Through her connection with Azarath, Maya understood their role. They were to protect the Queen's flagship, a massive living ship that housed the planetary defense systems. If it fell, the entire planet would be vulnerable. Azarath roared a challenge and accelerated toward a group of Draxus vessels attempting to flank the Queen's ship. Maya had basic combat training, but nothing prepared her for aerial dragon warfare. Yet somehow she knew exactly what to do. She directed Azarath with light touches and thoughts working in perfect harmony with the great beast. The dragon breathed streams of energy that cut through Draxus shields while Maya used a silvery weapon to target weak points. Below, she could see the Earth vessel rising to join the battle. Captain Blackwood was clearly not abandoning the fight despite the confusion of the situation. The human ship was small compared to the others, but moved quickly, firing conventional weapons at the Draxus ships. Maya felt a surge of pride seeing her people join the defense. A large Draxus vessel broke through the defensive line, heading directly for the royal flagship. Maya and Azarath dove toward it. The dragon twisted with impossible grace, avoiding enemy fire. As they approached, Maya could see strange creatures moving on the surface of the Draxus ship. They looked like humans and Sylvari, but wrong somehow, with gray skin and empty eyes. Corrupted Azarath communicated the concept directly into Maya's mind. She understood these were beings captured by the Draxus and transformed by their technology. The horror of it fueled her determination to stop them. Azarath landed on the hull of the Draxus ship, allowing Maya to engage the corrupted beings directly. Her combat training with Seraphina proved valuable as she fought using the energy staff she had been given. The weapon extended her natural abilities, making her faster and stronger than normal. The corrupted beings were strong but moved without strategy or self-preservation. As Maya fought on the hull, Azarath attacked the ships, weapon systems tearing through metal with powerful claws and energy breath. Other dragon riders joined them, creating a coordinated assault that the Draxus had not anticipated. The battle raged as Maya found herself fighting alongside aliens to defend a world she barely knew. In the midst of combat, Maya saw a Draxus commander, a tall being with pale skin and eyes that glowed green, directing the attack. The commander spotted her, immediately focusing on the human riding a royal dragon. With shocking speed, the commander launched toward Maya, weapon raised. Maya braced for impact, but before the commander reached her, a familiar figure intercepted the attack. Serafina moved like lightning, her dual blades slicing through the commander's armor. The two engaged in fierce combat. Moving so quickly Maya could barely follow, protect the queen. Serafina shouted to Maya as she fought. Maya hesitated, wanting to help, but Azarath was already moving, launching back into the air. The dragon knew their primary mission. They rejoined the aerial battle where the tide was turning in favor of the Sylvari. The Earthship had proven surprisingly effective against the Draxus vessels, human weapons being unfamiliar to the enemy. Maya directed Azarath toward a critical point in the battle, where several Draxus ships were concentrating their attack on the Queen's flagship. Maya felt rather than heard Azarath gathering energy. The dragon released a blast of blue fire more powerful than anything she had seen yet. The energy cut through 3 enemy vessels at once, sending them spinning toward the planet's surface. The remaining Draxus ships began to retreat, pulling back from the battle. Maya and Azarath pursued along with other dragon riders, ensuring the enemy truly fled rather than regrouping for another attack. When the immediate threat had passed, they returned to the palace landing platform, exhausted but victorious. Queen Lysithea stood waiting, her expression calm despite the battle. Maya dismounted, finding her legs shaky. After the intense experience, the queen approached, looking at Maya with new interest. "You fight well for a human," the queen said, "and you bond with Azarath in a way I have not seen before." Maya bowed her head, unsure of the proper protocol. "The dragon chose wisely," Maya replied. "We fought to protect your world and mine." The queen nodded, then turned as Serafina arrived, looking battle-worn but uninjured. "The Draxus commander escaped," Serafina reported, "but we captured one of their vessels intact. It will provide valuable intelligence." Maya noticed that Serafina had a deep cut on her arm. Despite this, she stood straight, showing no sign of pain. "Earthship requesting permission to dock. Captain Blackwood wishes to speak with Lieutenant Winters," a Sylvari guard announced. "Bring them to the council chamber," the queen commanded. Then to Maya, "You will join us. Your captain may have questions that require answers." Maya followed the queen and Serafina to a large room with a circular table that seemed to grow from the floor. Around it sat the highest-ranking Sylvari officials. Captain Blackwood and Ambassador Walsh entered, looking wary, but composed. Captain Olivia Blackwood was a tall woman with short gray hair and a commanding presence. She had been Maya's mentor since she joined the diplomatic corps. Maya respected her enormously and felt a twinge of guilt for the worry she must have caused. Lieutenant Winters, Captain Blackwood said formally, "Are you acting of your own free will?" The question carried significant weight. If Maya indicated she was being coerced, Earth would have grounds to demand her return, possibly by force. "I am Captain," Maya answered clearly. "This situation is unexpected, but I believe I can serve as a valuable connection between our peoples. The Draxus threat is real and eventually will reach Earth." She gestured to the Sylvari Council. "We have an opportunity to form an alliance based on mutual defense." Captain Blackwood studied Maya, carefully noting her Sylvari armor and the easy way she stood beside the alien queen. "You flew a dragon in combat," she said, her voice showing rare amazement. "Yes," Maya confirmed. "It appears I have formed an unusual bond with Azarath, the Queen's royal dragon. This is unprecedented." According to the Sylvari, she felt a swell of pride at this accomplishment. Ambassador Walsh stepped forward. "We cannot allow a diplomatic officer to be forced into marriage with an alien monarch regardless of the circumstances," she insisted. "This violates numerous Earth protocols." Queen Lysithea raised a hand for silence. "The bonding ceremony can be delayed," she conceded. "We are at war. Formalities must sometimes wait. But Lieutenant Winters carries the mark of dragon selection. She cannot leave Sylvaris Prime without breaking ancient law. Such an action would end any possibility of alliance between our peoples." Captain Blackwood frowned. "What exactly does this dragon selection mean?" she asked. "Does it have to result in marriage?" Serafina spoke. "The dragon chooses the most suitable partner for the monarch. It is usually, but not always, a mate. In times of war, it can be a battle partner. The ancient texts speak of different forms of bonding. This is the first time in my reign that a dragon has chosen a non-Sylvari Lysithea. Added, we are in uncharted territory. Maya saw an opportunity. Perhaps we can negotiate terms that satisfy both Earth and Sylvari requirements. She suggested, thinking quickly. I could serve as a liaison between our peoples, learning about Sylvari culture and teaching about Earth. This would honor the dragon's choice without rushing into a permanent arrangement. The council murmured among themselves while Captain Blackwood conferred with Ambassador Walsh. Finally, the Queen spoke. That is acceptable for now. Lieutenant Winters will remain as Earth liaison and dragon-selected companion. A formal decision about the bonding ceremony will be made after proper diplomatic protocols are established. Captain Blackwood did not look entirely satisfied but nodded. I will report this arrangement to Earth Command. She said Lieutenant Winters will provide regular updates on her status and the developing situation. When the meeting concluded, Maya walked with Captain Blackwood to a private area. I know this is irregular, she said to her superior. Irregular, Olivia raised an eyebrow. You crashed on an alien world, got drafted into a royal wedding, and now ride a battle dragon. I would say this goes beyond irregular, Maya smiled for the first time in days. The situation is complex but also an incredible opportunity. The Sylvari technology is amazing, Captain. Their biological engineering could revolutionize Earth science, and the threat from the Draxus is real. I saw. They're corrupted soldiers. Former living beings transformed into weapons. Olivia studied her closely. Are you certain you're not being influenced by these beings? She glanced at the Sylvari guards, standing at a distance. Some kind of mind control, Maya shook her head. No, I'm thinking clearly. This is first contact diplomacy at its most challenging, but also its most important. I believe I can make a difference here. Weeks passed on Silverus Prime as Maya immersed herself in training and learning. Every day she worked with Azarath, strengthening their mental bond until they could communicate without words. Their combat maneuvers became more complex as they practiced. With other dragon riders, Maya began to understand the subtle language of dragons. A communication system based on emotions, images and sensations rather than words. Serafina proved to be a demanding but effective teacher. She pushed Maya beyond what humans would consider normal limits. The Sylvari warrior seemed determined to prepare Maya for the coming conflict, showing no mercy in training, but also a growing respect for Maya's determination. During a particularly intense sparring session, Serafina knocked Maya to the ground for the 12th time in an hour. Maya lay there catching her breath, feeling bruises form despite the protective armor. You are holding back, Serafina said, standing over her. Why, Maya got to her feet slowly. Not holding back, she disagreed. Just fighting differently than you expect. She launched into a sequence of moves. She had been developing a hybrid style that combined Earth military combat with Sylvari fluidity. The unexpected approach caught Serafina off guard, allowing Maya to land a solid hit. Serafina stepped back, a slight smile on her face. Better, she acknowledged. You are learning to adapt, but you still think like a human separate from your environment. The Sylvari warrior gestured to the living training. Ground focus on the connection. Feel the life around you as you feel. Azarath Maya closed her eyes, trying to extend her awareness as she did with the dragon. It was difficult at first, but gradually she began to sense the subtle energies of the plants and trees surrounding them. When Serafina attacked again, Maya felt the slight shift in air pressure, the vibration through the ground. She moved without thinking, her body responding to information beyond normal human senses. She blocked Serafina's strike and countered effectively. Yes, Serafina said with genuine approval. Now you begin to understand. The bond with Azarath is changing you, opening pathways in your mind that humans rarely access. Maya had noticed other changes too. Her reflexes were faster, her senses sharper. She needed less sleep and recovered from injuries quickly. Her eyes had developed flecks of blue, the same shade as Azarath's scales. Earth doctors would have been fascinated by the physiological changes, but Maya had no access to human medical facilities. Instead, she documented everything in reports transmitted back to Earth. Captain Blackwood maintained regular communication, expressing increasing concern about Maya's transformation. Ambassador Walsh had been recalled to Earth for consultation regarding the developing situation with the Sylvaria team of xenobiologists and military strategists was being assembled to assess the potential alliance, and the Draxus threat. Maya entered the communication chamber to make her weekly report to Earth. She activated the secure channel and waited for the connection. Olivia's face appeared on the screen, looking tired, but alert. Lieutenant Winters, Captain Blackwood, nodded formally. "How are you progressing, Maya?" Reported on her training the intelligence gathered about Draxus movements and the ongoing negotiations for a formal alliance between Earth and the Sylvari Dominion. She omitted some details about her personal transformation, unsure how Earth authorities would react. "Command is concerned about your continued integration with the Sylvari," Olivia said after the formal report. "They worry about divided loyalties." Her expression showed she shared these concerns. "My loyalty remains with Earth," Maya assured her, "but I believe our best interests align with the Sylvari against the Draxus threat. If we ignore this conflict, it will eventually reach our doorstep." Olivia looked unconvinced. "Earth intelligence has been reviewing the data you sent on Draxus technology. They believe there may be defensive applications worth exploring. The corrupting aspect particularly interests certain military divisions." Maya felt a chill at these words. The Draxus corruption was a horror, not a weapon to be studied or replicated. "Captain, that technology destroys life," she said firmly. "It doesn't just kill, it perverts, and it cannot be controlled." "I have seen it firsthand." The captain frowned. "You sound like them, Winters. Your reports are becoming increasingly aligned with Sylvari perspectives. Has it occurred to you that you might be influenced by your connection to the dragon?" Maya had considered this possibility many times. She examined her thoughts and motivations constantly, but she found no evidence of manipulation, only a broadening of perspective. "My judgment remains my own," she insisted. "I simply have information that Earth lacks. The Draxus are not a potential research opportunity. They are an existential threat." Their conversation was interrupted by an alarm Maya recognized as a priority alert. "Captain, I need to go," she said quickly. "Possible Draxus activity. Handle it." Lieutenant Olivia replied, "We will continue this discussion later." The screen went dark as Maya hurried to the command center. Queen Lysithea stood before a large display showing the Sylvari defense grid. Seraphina and other high-ranking officials surrounded her. Maya joined them, noticing the tension in the room. Azarath was already reaching for her mind, sharing information about the situation. "Our long-range sensors have detected multiple Draxus vessels approaching," Lysithea explained. "They are using a new stealth technology that partially masks their signature, but we estimate at least 30 ships larger than our previous encounter. They will arrive within 2 days." "How did they assemble such a force so quickly?" Maya asked. The Queen's advisors looked at her with varying expressions, some still uncomfortable with a human's presence in strategic planning. "They must have been preparing this attack for months," Seraphina answered. "They used the earlier assault to test our defenses. This will be a major offensive. What are our options?" Maya studied the tactical display, noting the approach vectors and planetary defenses. The Queen gestured, and the display changed, showing Sylvari forces. "The Royal Fleet is at 3/4 strength after the last battle. We have called in vessels from our colony worlds, but they will not arrive in time. We must defend with what we have." Maya thought about Earth resources. Captain Blackwood's ship had returned to the nearby human outpost. Would Earth commit forces to this conflict or remain on the sidelines? "I need to contact Earth," she said. "They should be warned and given the option to assist." The Queen nodded. "Earth vessels performed well in the previous engagement. Their weapons use different principles than ours, giving us a tactical advantage. The Draxus have not yet adapted to human technology." Maya returned to the communication chamber and made an emergency call to Captain Blackwood. She explained the situation in clear military terms, outlining the threat and potential consequences. "This is not our war," Olivia said, though she looked troubled. With respect, Captain Maya countered. "It became our war when the Draxus attacked while an Earth vessel was present. They now know of our existence and our capabilities. If the Sylvari fall, we lose a potential ally and gain a dangerous enemy." She paused, letting this sink in. Earth Command wants information on the Draxus. This is an opportunity to observe their tactics firsthand. Olivia considered this, her military training clearly wrestling with diplomatic caution. "I will consult with Command," she said finally. "We have a small battle group. At the outpost, I cannot promise assistance, but I will present your assessment." Maya returned to the planning session where Sylvari military leaders were developing defense strategies. The coming battle would be fought both in space and on the ground. If the Draxus broke through the outer defenses, Maya worked with Serafina to integrate her knowledge of Earth tactics, suggesting alternative approaches that might surprise the enemy. As they worked, Maya noticed a growing respect from the Sylvari officers. Her hybrid fighting style and unique perspective gained appreciation as they recognized the value of different approaches. Several dragon riders had begun incorporating human combat techniques into their training, forming a specialized unit under Maya's guidance. The day before the expected attack, Maya stood on a high balcony watching Sylvari preparations. Serafina joined her silently. The two had developed a wordless understanding through weeks of training together. They stood, side by side, observing the activity below. "You have changed us," Serafina said. Finally, Maya turned to her, surprised by the observation. "Your presence has forced adaptations, new approaches. The Queen believes this may be why Azurath chose you. The Sylvari had become too fixed in our thinking, too predictable. You bring chaos in the best sense." Maya smiled slightly. "Humans excel at chaos, it's practically our specialty." Serafina nodded. "We saw your historical records, constant war and conflict, yet remarkable resilience and innovation. The Draxus seek perfect order through corruption. We seek harmony through connection. Perhaps humans represent a middle path, adaptable, yet principled." Their philosophical discussion was interrupted by a guard. "Your Earth allies have arrived," he announced. Maya hurried to the landing platform where 3 Earth vessels were setting down significantly more firepower than she had expected. Commander Diana Rivers stepped out of the lead ship, a no-nonsense officer Maya had met during training. Commander Rivers, Maya saluted formally. "Thank you for responding." Commander Rivers returned the salute. Captain Blackwood made a compelling case to command. "We have authorization for limited engagement, primarily information gathering." She looked around at the alien environment, her expression carefully neutral. 8 ships, including the battle cruiser Valiant, remain in orbit. The days following the battle brought significant changes to Silverus Prime Earth, and Sylvari personnel worked side by side, repairing damage and strengthening defenses. The victory had been costly, but decisive. Draxus forces retreated beyond sensor range, though everyone knew they would eventually return. Maya found herself at the center of diplomatic discussions as both sides sought to formalize their alliance. Admiral Samantha Reeves arrived from Earth Command with a delegation of military officials, scientists, and diplomats. A tall woman with dark skin and commanding presence, she brought the authority to negotiate a binding agreement between worlds. Maya served as cultural liaison, helping both sides understand the other's perspectives. In customs, Maya stood in the Grand Council chamber as formal talks began. The room had been restored following battle damage with new growth, creating an even more beautiful space. Sylvari architecture had always impressed her, the way structures seemed alive, constantly adapting and improving. Queen Lysithea sat on her living throne with Serafina, now recovered from her injuries, standing at her right hand. Admiral Reeves addressed the gathering. "Earth recognizes the threat posed by the Draxus Empire," she stated, her voice carrying throughout the chamber. "We have reviewed all evidence and testimony from the recent conflict. Their corruption technology represents a danger to all biological life. Our scientists believe it could adapt to any living system, including Earth's." The Admiral gestured to Maya. "Lieutenant Winter's actions during this crisis have demonstrated the potential of cooperation between our peoples. Her unique bond with the royal dragon Azurath offers a model for future collaboration." Maya felt both pride and discomfort at being the center of attention. Her role had evolved far beyond her original diplomatic mission. Queen Lysithea rose in response. The Sylvari welcome Earth's wisdom in recognizing our common enemy, she said. For too long we have fought alone, believing no other species would understand or assist us. Lieutenant Winters has shown us another path. Her presence here began with ancient tradition, but has become something new. A bridge between worlds. The formal negotiations continued for days. Maya participated in many sessions explaining Earth customs to the Sylvari and Sylvari traditions to the humans. Where misunderstandings arose, she mediated, finding compromises that respected both cultures. The most challenging discussions concerned military cooperation, technology sharing, and the permanent stationing of Earth personnel on Silverus Prime. During a break in the talks, Maya found herself in the royal gardens with Serafina. The two had developed a deep friendship through combat training and shared battles. Maya noticed that Serafina seemed troubled. The treaty progresses well, Maya said. What concerns you? Serafina looked toward the twin moons visible even in daylight. The formal alliance is necessary, but alliances between governments are fragile things. They depend on mutual benefit and can dissolve when circumstances change. Maya understood the worry. What would you propose instead? True bonds between peoples. Serafina replied, that is what will sustain us against the Draxus. That is what you have begun with Azurath. A connection that transcends formal agreements. Maya thought about her unique position. She had come to understand the Sylvari deeply while maintaining her human perspective. The dragon bond had changed her but not erased her humanity. Instead, it had expanded her awareness, allowing her to bridge different worlds. Their conversation was interrupted by a messenger. The Queen requests your presence in the royal chamber. Both of you, Maya and Serafina, exchanged glances before following the messenger. They found Queen Lysithea, not in the formal throne room, but in her private meditation space. A circular chamber with walls of living crystal that reflected and amplified the natural energy of the planet. Azurath lay curled at one end of the room, his massive form somehow fitting comfortably in the space. The traditional wedding ceremony approaches, the Queen said without preamble. The negotiations with Earth have progressed to the point where we must address this matter. Maya had been expecting this conversation. The wedding that had initially seemed forced now represented a powerful symbol of alliance, but she still had reservations about its implications for her future. Earth Command proposes a diplomatic partnership rather than a traditional marriage. Admiral Reeves believes this would be more acceptable to human sensibilities, Maya explained. The Queen smiled slightly. Human sensibilities are not so different from our own. Despite what your people may think, we too value choice and self-determination. The ancient traditions speak of dragon selection, but they do not dictate the exact form of the resulting bond. Serafina looked surprised, but remained silent. The Queen continued, my advisors have studied the oldest texts seeking precedents for our unique situation. They found references to a triumvirate bond from the earliest days of our civilization. Triumvirate, Maya asked, unfamiliar. With the term three joined in common purpose, the Queen explained. The monarch, the guardian, and the bridge. Each with distinct roles but united in mind and purpose. The text describes such arrangements as rare but powerful, especially in times of great challenge. Lysithea looked from Maya to Serafina and back again. Her meaning became clear. You suggest, Maya began, then stopped, considering the implications. A three-way bond. You, me, and Serafina. Serafina stepped forward. My Queen, this is unexpected, she said carefully. But there is wisdom in it. Maya and I have developed fighting techniques that complement each other. Her connection to Azurath strengthens my own dragon bond, and she bridges our world with Earth. A triumvirate would formalize what has already begun to form. Maya thought about her relationship with Serafina. Their initial wariness had developed into respect, then friendship, and finally a deep trust. She considered her growing understanding of Sylvari culture and her commitment to building something lasting between their worlds. The triumvirate offered a way to honor all these connections, while creating something new. What would this mean? Practically, Maya asked. The Queen stood moving to a central platform where light focused. From the crystal walls, each of us would maintain our primary roles. She explained I would continue as Queen Seraphina as Royal Guardian, you as Earth Liaison and Dragon Rider, but we would share a formal bond recognized by both our peoples. A declaration that our futures are joined. Such an arrangement would create a permanent living link between Earth and the Silvery Dominion. Seraphina added one that could not be easily broken by changing political winds. Maya considered the proposal carefully. It was unconventional by both Earth and Silvari standards, yet it offered a solution that might satisfy all parties. Admiral Reeves had emphasized the importance of maintaining Maya's connection to Earth while formalizing the alliance with the Silvari. This triumvirate might accomplish both goals. I believe this could work, Maya said finally. But Earth representatives would need to understand the arrangement clearly. It must be presented as a diplomatic innovation, not simply a marriage. The Queen nodded. Admiral Reeves strikes me as practical. She will recognize the advantages if properly explained. She turned to Seraphina. And you, my guardian? What are your thoughts? Seraphina straightened her posture, formal, but with a new openness in her expression. I have watched Maya become something new. Neither fully human nor Silvari, but stronger for the integration. I have fought beside her and trusted her with my life. She looked directly at Maya. The triumvirate has my full support. Maya felt a surge of emotion at Seraphina's words. Their journey from suspicious allies to trusted companions had been remarkable. She sensed Azarath's approval through their mental link. The dragon had chosen her for this purpose, seeing potential that only now became clear. The three spent hours discussing how to present the triumvirate to both Earth and Silvari representatives. Maya suggested framing it as an innovative diplomatic arrangement, highlighting the practical benefits for alliance and cooperation. Queen Lysithea worked with royal advisors to find historical precedents that would satisfy traditionalists. Seraphina focused on the military implications, emphasizing how the triumvirate would strengthen coordinated defense. The next day, they presented their proposal to Admiral Reeves in a private meeting. Maya explained the concept, emphasizing that it represented a diplomatic innovation rather than simply a marriage arrangement. The Admiral listened carefully, her expression thoughtful. This is unconventional, Lieutenant, the Admiral said when Maya finished. But then everything about this situation has been unconventional from the start. She considered for a moment. Earth Command wanted a lasting alliance with the Silvari, one that would endure beyond immediate military necessity. The triumvirate offered that permanence without requiring Maya to abandon her Earth citizenship or duties. The Admiral looked at Queen Lysithea. Would this arrangement be acceptable to your people? Your traditions seemed quite specific about royal marriage. The Queen nodded. We have found precedent in our most ancient texts. The triumvirate was practiced before our recorded history during times of great change. It allows for unity while preserving the essential nature of each participant. The Admiral turned back to Maya. You understand what you are committing to. This goes beyond standard diplomatic service. Maya met her gaze steadily. I do, Admiral. This bond will allow me to serve Earth more effectively while honoring the connection I have formed with Azarath and the Silvari people. I believe it represents the best path forward for lasting alliance.